Well, I really appreciate everybody making the time out of their evening to join and talk about popcorn. I know it's really early. We're not even through July yet, but it's important that you all have this information, um, past and new kernels now, because it comes fast, especially when we're getting product here at the end of next month. Um, if you're not aware of what's going on and how to operate the sale, it might be a little bit of a struggle. So getting this information now, and getting it to your scouts and leaders and parents now is really important. So once you do get product and you're starting meeting more regularly, if you're not throughout the summer, um, is really crucial. I appreciate also my colleague Virginia. She'll be here seeing the questions that are coming through and making sure that I don't miss anything. But if you do have a question, just feel free to throw it in the chat. If I see it and it's pertinent to like what I'm on, I should be able to answer it. Otherwise, I'll wait until the end, kind of go through those, and then we'll also have some time at the end to answer questions verbally if that works too. I hope to be under an hour. Typically, I am, but there is a fair amount of information. Even the basic stuff, as far as the stuff from Trails End goes, there's a little bit of changes that I want to make sure you're aware of if you're in the past, if you're a kernel in the past. I want to make sure that you're aware of those sale basics, and then the second part will be more council specific details that I want to make sure that you're aware of. So just starting off, looking back at last year, we had a great sale. We almost hit $600,000 council-wide selling. Here are our top 10 units. Did an absolutely fantastic job. The top two, Pact 710 and Troop 162, breaking over $45,000 is absolutely incredible. It's so cool to see the units in this council having such a successful sale. These two specifically ranked up in the top 200 nationally out of the 8,500 units that sold Trails and Popcorn. These were at 173 and 160 nationally ranking. The average unit is selling over $10,000 in product. So just across the board, it's really cool to see that everyone is having such a successful sale. Looking at the top 10 scouts, we had the top three are either close to 10,000 or breaking 10,000 in sales, which is absolutely incredible. Jasper and Caden ranking 130 and 110 in the nation out of 100,000 scouts that sold Trails and Popcorn nationally. So it's really cool to see that success and to know that the scouts that are out there selling in Cascade Pacific Council are doing such a fantastic job. Going over, I know there's a blank. Going over just the ideal year of scouting. The year of scouting for each unit can and truly should look different for each pack and troop. But there are basics that are kind of fundamental to making sure that you are having a fun and successful scouting year. So that goes fairly hand in hand with fundraising, but some basics that you should have as a unit, and I want to just go over is having a good program plan, doing the things that your scouts and your families are excited about, is really crucial. Calendaring those things out so your families are aware of what's coming up. But as far as fundraising goes, stuff that goes into that is creating a budget. So Trails End has a budget tool in the leader portal that I'll go over here in a sec. They have a budget tool you should definitely use to kind of just map out what you think things should cost for your families. That can be anything from events or even registration and advancement. So then once you have your budget set, as far as fundraising goes, you want to be setting your goals. So setting your goals is important, of course, internally, but then also through the Trails End site, it'll ask you to set your goal. It'll have the system create kind of a plan that would suit what you guys are looking to do. So that would be helping you make sure that you're having the product on hand that you need, and kind of seeing how many storefronts or how many sale hours you would need to be hitting your goals. So that's pretty crucial, because this could be overwhelming, but if the unit itself is having a goal to work towards, then the scout itself, it makes it a little bit more attainable. And then of course, raising that money after you set those goals, getting out there fundraising, and getting the dollars in to do the program that you want. This is a fairly short sale. We only go for a handful of weeks here in the fall. And if you're able to kind of crank it out right here, you'll be able to fund the rest of your year. So that's the key part of this, is that if we can get it down to a short time frame, you guys have a successful sale, you're able to not worry about it for the rest of the year. So that's the hope here. I mentioned setting your goal, why Trails End requires it. They just want to make sure that you do have something that you're working towards. But one thing that you can't do without putting that goal in Trails End is reserving storefronts. So I'll explain storefronts here in a minute for those that are new. But it will ask you when you log in as a kernel to set your unit's goal, and then you'll be able to have access to reserving storefronts. If you don't have that in place, there will just be a pop-up that says to do that. So don't worry about not being able to find it. It'll show you definitely where you want to put that in. But if you're having any issues with it, please let me know here in the next few days. Scout participation. So this is a big one. Of course, with more scouts participating in the sale in your unit, you're going to have a more successful sale. But I do think it's a bit jarring to see that out of the scouts that we have in our council, only 10% of those sold last year. And even in the units that did sell last year, only half of those scouts participated. So I want to give you guys some resources, and Trails End is providing these to really communicate with those scouts that aren't participating, whether you're new or they haven't bought in and you've sold in the past. Some stuff that you can kind of share out with them to get them understanding the who, what, when, where, and why of the sale, and understanding why it's so important, and get them participating in your unit sale. So all these things I'm going to share three like marketing items. These are all under the Scout Resources tab in the Leader Portal. And I'll go through them fairly quickly, just because I don't need to read each one of them off. But the first one is this Scout flyer. So this is going over Jonathan's kind of why, and what benefits he has seen from selling popcorn. Jonathan is the top selling scout in the nation and he's a Life Scouts BSA scout, and has hit over $80,000 in sales just last year. So no matter what age, you can definitely have a successful year. But here's just a flyer that you can hand out, whether it's digitally or at your kickoff, at a meeting, something like that, to share with those scouts. Here's an email that you can tailor to your specific unit. This would definitely be something that you could send out now, while you're preparing your families to start the school year, basically. Get them in the know and make sure that they're prepared. So here's an email I would say tailor it to your unit, and then also a social media post. So those are just three things. The biggest thing is making sure that the information is out there, available to everybody, and in different ways. And because you're not meeting, typically units aren't meeting as regularly in the summer. You see your scouts maybe a handful of times throughout the summer, making sure that they're in the know before you really hit the ground running in the fall when your program starts back up, because that's right when the sale starts too. Speaking of selling, there are three main ways that you can sell popcorn throughout the sale. And the biggest one is storefronts. This is basically when you set up a table and you have tangible product there, and at a storefront such as a grocery store, a hardware store, things like that. And then you're selling to the customers that are coming in and out of that store. That is the biggest chunk of the sales here in the council. The other one that has tangible product is what we refer to as wagon sales. So this is basically door-to-door sales, when the scout has tangible product with them and they're just going on their own to their neighborhood, or their family's neighborhood, and selling product right there, making the transaction right there. that is wagon sales and storefront sales. So those are the two that deal with tangible product. And then online is when your scout, a scout in your unit, excuse me, is sharing that they're selling popcorn, they're fundraising for their scouting adventures through popcorn, and they're sharing that online, whether that's with social media or texting, phone calls, emails, and then the customer goes to their online storefront, basically purchases the product there, and then it's shipped directly to them through Trails End. So there's no handling of product in those. It's definitely a great way to capture those family and friends that might be, out of state or a little farther away. But the two big ones are storefront and wagon sales with those tangible products. Before I move on to this, I'm going to take a sip of water. One major benefit of using Trails End, a big reason why we use Trails End popcorn in the fall to fundraise, is because of the technology that they offer. And I'm going to refer to two major pieces of software that they have for us. And there's a big differentiation between the two. So the first one is the leader portal. This is where you, as an adult colonel, will go in and manage the sale for the entire unit. And I'll get into everything that portal does, but the biggest things are ordering popcorn, managing storefronts, and managing your scouts and your budget, your fundraising monies coming in. So this is web-based. They say it is mobile friendly. I know that there are leaders that are able to use it on the phone. I would recommend, if you're doing a lot of things in there, right, placing your orders, managing a bunch of storefronts and your scouts, do it on a desktop. But this is where you would go to manage that, and that is for unit leaders, popcorn kernels only. The second is the Trails End Scout app. So whenever I refer to an app, this is the one I'm talking about, and this is basically just for the scouts. This is their point of sale for the system, or point of sale for the sale, excuse me, and where they manage what inventory they have on their own, or claiming storefronts that you've already reserved for the unit. So the major things that the Trails End Leader portal has, like I said, it manages your entire sale. So this is where you'll invite your scouts to claim, like, register with your unit. I should mention that Trails End registration, as far as scouts go, is not connected to your BSA scouting registration. So it's important that they are registering themselves in your unit, or you're manually doing that and inviting them to join your unit cell. This is also where you'll set your goals and you'll order your popcorn. You'll find all your reports here, from inventory management to storefront management. And this is also where you will release any funds that you've obtained through credit cards. If you haven't been in yet, this will have some in-app guides, basically, and it'll show a few pop-ups of just like key features that the leader portal has. So it should give you a bit of a walkthrough. But like I said, if you're still having issues, feel free to reach out. We can walk through it, and I'll definitely help you get to wherever you need to go to make sure that you have everything you need to have a good sale. Moving on to the app, like I said, this is the point of sale for your scouts. So whether they're at a storefront or doing a wagon sale, or even online, this is where that'll happen for your scouts. The app has Square technology, so you can take credit cards through your phone, your mobile device. Like I said, it's partnered with Square, so if you have a physical, like, Square card reader, you can connect it to that. It also new this year is tap to pay, and we'll get into that in just a second. So the scouts will take all of their sales through their phone through this app, and this is also where they will manage their sale overall. So things like the inventory that they have, any goals that they're setting on themselves, that's where that's stored. I should also note that because it's managed through Trails End, they are covering the credit card fees. So that is not on the unit to do when you take a credit card. That is taken care of from Trails End. But the app is where you will take those credit card payments. Like I said, tap to pay is new. There's a little bit of a demo here in a minute, but just like you do with your card or with your phone, if you're at a grocery store and you tap the register and take the payment through that, this can now be done through the app. So trying to just break down those barriers and make it as accessible as possible for everybody to complete those sales. It's been skipping for me in the past. Hopefully it won't go too early, but this is basically just the user interface for, yep, it did it. For when a scout is at a storefront or wagon sales and completing the order. So it's super straightforward. They just add things to their carts, go to checkout and complete the sale. So really, really straightforward. And this can be done on any mobile device. Here is a little video just showing the tap to pay because it's new. I just want to make sure that everybody understands. But like I said, it's incredibly straightforward. But Becky will share more.
And on iOS, it gives me the option to tap to pay, which is what I'm going to select. That opens up the tap to pay functionality. And I'm going to hold up my card. It completed that payment and authorizing approved. And now my order is confirmed.
Kristen, do you have a question?
Yeah, I did. So on her screen, it said like tap to pay with iPhone. Is this also compatible with Android phones as well?
As far as I'm aware, yeah, I believe. I haven't tried it myself. Yeah, S10 or newer for.
Okay, all right. I just
so
wanted
that's specific
to
to the
verify.
Galaxy, but the software should be the same. Yeah, it is. Good question.
Okay, thanks.
Sweet. So that is just a walkthrough of the tap to pay just because it's new, but like I said, and Becky said, it's super straightforward. Here's the dashboard for what a scout would see when they're first logging in. So the button down there says make a sale, but other than your sale, like I said, this is where they manage everything, creating goals, storefront sales data, things like that. This is what a scout would see when they first log in. When they do first log in, there's a few trainings that can be gone through initially, including practicing your pitch. So things like that will kind of be auto recommended to the scout when they first log in here for the sale, and things that it notices it might give other prompts, but there is some basic trainings overview in that app initially. There's also going to be some sale like notifications and updates given periodically. Mainly the big ones are reminding the scout that there's a storefront shift coming up, or that the unit reserved one, there's one available. So those are going to be new this year, and some notifications that are going to be coming through the app, just to make sure that your scouts are aware. Like I said, they can manage their entire sale, including online sales. So they can customize their page, show some cool scouting adventures, and that will be present when a customer receives this and is curious in understanding what the benefits are to the scout and why they're supporting them. So that's something they can do here through the app as well, is manage their personal online sales storefront. And this is what it would look like when the customer receives it. This is the storefront, online storefront personalized to that scout, and then what the products that are available for them to purchase to support the scout. Going into storefronts, a little bit different this year. So storefronts are managed through the Trails End Leader portal, and you are able to go in and claim those, and then have scouts assigned to them throughout the sale. Right now, they are currently open for unlimited reservations. That said, this year, for anybody that's done this before, it will be incredibly crucial that you have your scouts assigned to your storefronts prior to that weekend. Last year, just pulling from the data, we saw that there were almost 40% of weekend storefront hours that were claimed but not used by the scouts. This might be skewed a little bit because scouts weren't assigned, but they still went to the storefront and just logged their sales through wagon sales. But I know that's not true for the whole 40%. So it's really important that you're assigning your scouts prior to the weekend, and getting them claimed, because otherwise at 5 p.m. on Thursdays, those reservations for that following weekend will be released back to other units. So it does happen. You claim a storefront, it doesn't end up working out for any of your scouts, but this will now be automatically returned to the queue for any other units that were hoping for that storefront that specific time. It'll go back and be available for a unit to claim. So it's really important to make sure that those are secured by your scouts, whether that's done by you or the scout itself. It doesn't really matter, but assigning the scouts to that storefront prior to 5 p.m. on Thursday is going to be really, really crucial this year. Just a little bit of a tip for storefronts. This is just based on some data over the past few years. Is that 2 scouts on one shift are considerably less profitable than having 1 scout do 2 shifts, do 2 different solo shifts. I butchered that, but basically we're seeing that if there's 2 scouts on one shift, they're making $162 an hour. Whereas those 2 scouts did their own separate shifts, they're combining a total of over $100 more. So I would just say keep this in mind. It's not feasible for everybody. That's totally understandable, whether that's siblings or ages. It just doesn't make sense to only have 1 scout there. But definitely something to keep in mind, that it is considerably more profitable to have your scouts go by themselves and with their parent or guardian to the storefront, versus having 2 scouts or more on that same shift. Okay, now the fun stuff through Trails End, the rewards. So in addition to the commission that your unit will receive, scouts are also able to earn points based on their sales, and these points are then translated to Amazon gift cards. I have a graphic that shows all of the point conversion rate that I will share out later. It's not in this slideshow, but basically at a certain amount of points, that value is worth a certain amount of gift cards. This year, it's not just Amazon. There's a few selections that your scouts can choose from. And this is all done also through their app. So once they have rewards available, specifically Trails End rewards available, they will be able to go into the app and claim it right there, and then they'll get an email with the gift card code. And again, like I said, this is in addition to the commission that your unit receives from selling the product. Going into the products for this year, this is a fairly large change. I'm pretty excited for it, but most of the products, 4 out of the 5 of them, are at a $20 price point. So this is your salted caramel, your popping corn, your white cheddar, and your kettle. Those are all at a $20 price point. The bags have been either made a little bit smaller or in a couple cases made larger to fit that $20 price point. So I think this will be really simplified for your scouts and your adults at those storefronts specifically, and just making everything set the same price. Besides that butter is still going to be $25. But everything else, $20 across the board. This is a big change, but I'm pretty excited for it, and I think that everybody is going to see some benefits to this too. The other products that we have, these are non-tangible options. So if a customer wants to support your scouts but decides they don't want any of the products that you have available at the time, they are still able to support with Heroes and Helpers donations. So these do all stay local. We are able to donate any of the product that's sold, translating that into tangible product. And the last few years, it's gone to the Portland VA, and they have been just incredibly appreciative of those donations. And it's really cool that it's able to stay local. But this is one of those other products that you can sell when you're at storefronts or wagons, in addition to those 5 tangible items. As far as selling goes, it is truly important that your scouts have a good refined pitch going. This is just an example of one. But I would say make it a point of practicing that with your scouts if they've never sold before. or even the ones that have and kind of just freshen up on it. But having a good clean pitch, right, showing the customer what scouting's all about and asking them to support them in their adventure is great. A big thing is you're not asking a customer to purchase popcorn, to buy popcorn. You're asking them to support the scouts adventures and their scouting year, and as a thank you they get a bag of popcorn or a jar of kernels, things like that. But truly the pitch should basically be saying, please help support me in this, and not, truly asking them to purchase popcorn. So like I said, everything is almost everything, excuse me, is $20. The benefits that we've seen in this, last year it was piloted from a few units around the nation. We've seen pretty good increases, $11 an hour, and almost 8%, almost 10% overall. So I think that this will be a really good way to simplify things, and hopefully it'll benefit everybody's sale. And this is just kind of a reminder, right? We're not selling popcorn, we're fundraising for scouts to have a great, fantastic scouting year. So whether you're asking them to, help you go to Jamboree or go to a summer camp or go on a hike, this is how you can do it. And again, you're not asking to buy popcorn, but to support you in your scouting adventure. A few QR codes here. Trails End offers some webinars, some trainings for leaders and for scouts. If you want to sign up, use this QR code. There's also a link in the leader portal. I'm not going to stay on these for too long. I can go back if anybody really wants to, but I would say check these out. They're super helpful. There might be things that Trails End mentions that I don't, but I would definitely check them out. And you can ask questions too from things that are working around the council, from councils, or excuse me, from around the nation, from councils that are already selling, things like that. They also have a YouTube channel. There's a ton of great videos, kind of sharing what a pitch looks like, how to set up a storefront table, things like that. I would definitely include that in your unit kickoff. Explain that a little bit more too here in a minute. But check out that YouTube channel. They got some good videos. And then the last one that I will stay on for a second while I get some water is the registration for the 2025 sale. So if you haven't done that already, please scan that QR code right now and register your unit. And then we'll keep moving on. Okay, sweet. If anybody needs me to go back, just let me know at the end and we can go back to any of these QR codes, but I will also send out links here tomorrow and recap everything tonight, as well as a ton of these links. So now I'm going to get into the specifics of CPC for the sale. Right off the bat, some key dates. So the initial order that is placed through Trails End is due this coming Sunday. This you will order in full cases, and it will be placed through the Trails End leader portal. And then after that, we'll have the product available to pick up. This, as of today, is a little bit up in the air. We're actually working on seeing if it can be done the weekend prior. But more information for sure on that to come early next week. As of right now, plan on the 29th. But once it is for sure, I thought it was, but once it is for sure, you will know immediately, as it might be the 22nd. But as of right now, plan on the 29th that you'll pick up your first order. These will be in your specific districts. So not from the council office, the council's location, but from areas that are more central in your district. And once this date is closer, you'll also get connected from either your district executive or your district colonel with kind of pickup details and scheduling what that looks like for that day, either the 22nd or the 29th. Other key dates. This year, we're going to do a second formal reorder. So this second order can be placed needs to be placed by the 7th of September. And this will also be done in full cases on the unit leader portal. So the hope with that is that we can get you the exact product that you want about halfway through the sale. So the goal is to get you through a couple weekends. You'll kind of figure out what you need, what's missing, and then use this second order to supplement the rest of the sale. So like I said, this will be a formal order, and you'll do it through the Trails End site. And then that second pickup will be a couple weeks later, looking at the 19th of September. This one will be picked up from the council office, more or less depending on size. We'll kind of get to that when that point comes, but do plan on that second order being picked up from the council office. And then looking at the end of the sale, October 31st is when returns will be due. You can bring those back earlier. This is just the deadline for them. When we get to returns, we'll kind of discuss the logistics of that more, but just let me know and we'll figure out a time to bring that back in. But I'll talk about returns here more in a second. October 31st is also when your final order is due. So this final order is the third one that will be placed on the Trails End site. And this is to just supplement anything that basically was sold as a wagon sale and the scout didn't have the product on hand at that moment, and you don't either in your unit's inventory. So this can be placed in single individual bags, and then is placed on the 31st, and then a few weeks later on the 14th, that will be also picked up in the council office in individual bags if needed. I should go back on the 31st. Payment is due. As far as payment goes, because most of the sales are completed through credit cards, those funds initially go towards your balance due. And then anything after your balance is zero, your credit cards will then be given, those payments will be then able to go into the unit's pocket. So all this to say is there's a fair chance that you won't need to make that payment, but if you do, because you had say more cash or check than credit card sales, this would be done on the 31st. Commissions. So your unit is able to earn a base of 33% on those storefront and wagon sales. 33% of the units retail, the products retail, and it's a possible 2% bonus if you submit your kickoff presentation. I think I skipped that one on the 29th. So that will also be due on the 29th. Please just submit a kickoff plan to me by that using the Google form link that I'll also send out again here tomorrow. That kickoff, my hope is to just make sure that everybody has an idea of how they're going to get their scouts involved. So this submission could be if you have a slideshow. I'll put this one up, so you're welcome to use this one if you want to tailor it to your needs. Or it could be as simple as a meeting agenda and kind of showing, how you're going to get your scouts prepared, knowledgeable, and ready for their sale. Doesn't need to be too crazy, but I love seeing what everybody does. It's super cool. But if you want to submit that, just use the Google form and your unit will receive an additional 2% on those storefront and wagon sales. And then online sales are base 35 commission already. So everything can be 35% commission across the board if we get that presentation sent in to me by the 29th. So reorders, like I said, we'll do one additional reorder that needs to be in September 7th. Other than that, I will have a limited stock available at the council office that we can do weekly. We'll do Thursdays this year, and that will be through a Google form that I'll send out. Just because it's not possible to create an order every week, because that goes to Trails End. It doesn't come through my inventory. So all this to say, this one, I don't call it a formal one just because it's through the council and the inventory that we're able to keep on hand throughout the sale. This is a limited inventory, so I try to be as good as I can, but there's often times that I'm not able to get the exact products that units want. So that's why that second formal reorder is crucial, because you are able to get exactly what you want midway through the sale. And I won't be needing to make adjustments to that. Returns, so like I said, they're due on the 31st. As far as the policy for that, a unit can return up to 20% of their initial order. So a unit can return up to 20% of the order placed on Sunday in full, unopened, and undamaged cases. So if you do need to make returns, they need to be in their full unopened cases, and that can be 20% of that just first order. Getting into some cool incentives that we're able to offer here this year. There is a new unit promotion that Trails End's offering for anybody that did not sell in 2024. They sell now. They will receive a $480 credit to their invoice. So that's 2 free cases of white cheddar, 100% commission, and that will be issued to your invoice. So yeah, if you didn't sell last year, this offer is definitely available for you. The only caveat is that you do need to register for at least 1 storefront. For units that did sell last year, we have some growth incentives. So if your unit is able to increase by these amounts, $2,500, $5,000, missing a zero, or $7,500, you'll receive a respective Scout Shop credit of $200, $400, or $600. So this is for any units that did sell last year and are able to increase their sell. They'll receive this credit by next year. Excuse me. So once the sale is over, then we'll get it to them probably early January. Some other cool stuff that we're offering this year is a Heroes and Helpers Council shoulder patch. So this would be for scouts that sell that Heroes and Helpers donations. If that scout reaches $250 in donations, they will receive this 2025 Heroes and Helpers CSP. So really hoping that we're getting those scouts to push that. If there's customers that are hesitant about their products, making sure that they're informing the customers there are other ways to support them if they would like, and the scouts will receive a patch if they hit this threshold. For leaders, to incentivize making sure that your scouts are trying to hit this goal as well. For every 5 scouts that do collect this minimum of $250 in Heroes and Helpers in your unit, you'll also receive 1, and that's true for every 5. So if you have 10, you'll get 2, and so forth. So I'm really excited about this. I think it's a really fun patch, and definitely a cool way to support our local Heroes and Helpers. Additionally, this year, we have Jambo coming up in 2026, and we want to make sure that we are able to support those scouts that are going to that as much as we can. So any scouts that are registered for the 2026 National Jamboree through Cascade Pacific Council and do sell popcorn can receive an additional 15% of their commission to their registration account. So after the sale ends, any scout that's registered will automatically apply those 15% commissions to their registration account. And if you are interested in attending but aren't signed up yet, there's the link right there, or please feel free to reach out to me or any of my colleagues, and we can get you more information on what it looks like to sign up and go to Jamboree. But as far as popcorn goes, this is that bonus that those scouts that are currently registered can receive. Some other individual scout prizes. We have some 4 different levels, including a $1 sell patch, right? So if any scout makes a sell of any kind, they'll receive this snack attack patch. And then we also have a limited edition patch that we'll send out to any scouts that sell $750 or more. These 2 patches down below, those are just examples of what we've done the last couple years. But these will be revamped for this year. But they will be really cool, and I'll get out pictures here once we have an idea of what those look like here in the coming weeks. For any scouts that sell $1,500 or more, they'll receive a CPC first aid kit and a 2025 Yeti water bottle with the popcorn guy on it. So those are for any scouts that sell $1,500 or more. And of course, they'll receive the other 2 items as well. And then the top 50 scouts who sell $2,500 or more at least will get a invitation to a top sellers party. The last few years we've done it at Bullwinkle's for themselves and a guardian. And that typically takes place at the end of January or beginning of February. But that is for the top 50 scouts. So Anyone that sells at least $2,500 or more and is in that 50 threshold will get an invitation to that. So my last slide is just some next steps. Make sure you're placing your order by August 3rd, so that's this Sunday, and holding a unit kickoff. Do something fun to get your scouts excited, informed, and prepared. This could be a barbecue or at a regular meeting, but definitely hold that kickoff to make sure that your scouts have everything they need to have a good sale, and then submit that bonus commission with what you did for your unit kickoff or what you will do for your unit kickoff. And then your first order pickup is going to be either the 29th or the 22nd. Like I said, that will be out here just the next few days, but currently we're hitting the 29th. And that is all I have. Just a few more QR codes. If you need Trails End support, they have a wonderful FAQ page. They also have a fantastic Facebook group. We also have a CPC specific Facebook group, and I'll put the link in the chat here for that and so many other things. But definitely check out both those Facebook groups. The CPC one is a great place to share some ideas that you have, if you're looking for ideas yourself, or if you are needing to switch product stuff that I don't have at the time, definitely post in there. It's a great place to have those communications. And then here is my contact info for anybody that doesn't already have it. But that is it. Please put in your questions. You should be able to, thank you, Virginia, post your questions. Someone raise their hand if they're not, or if they do have a question, and we'll kind of go from there. But right now I'll put in some of these other links. But I appreciate everybody taking the time out of the day. What did I hit? 41 minutes. All right, I did okay. But yeah, I appreciate everyone, and it's gonna be a great sale.
There are a few questions here I didn't have the answers to. One was, does that mean that single hours will be released back? Or is it if an entire storefront is not signed up for?
If there is not a scout at all on that storefront, then it would be released. But if there is a scout, even for a portion of that storefront, it will stay. I would say try and get another scout, but it would stay if there's at least a scout on that storefront, no matter how much of the time.
Another question was, an email came out about no butter popcorn available for this year's sale. Is that just for the kickoff or the whole sale period?
Yeah, that is something I forgot to mention. We sent out the products here, and then Trails End let us know that the new butter, the pre-popped butter, was not going to be available in production for the entire sale. The microwave butter is still available, but just not that pre-popped one that is new this year. So you will only be able to order the ones that are available, but that pre-popped one isn't on there. And then it should be up, but a new product sheet would have just those 5 products, excluding the new pre-popped butter.
Awesome. What happened to cash to card transfer?
That should still be a possibility. I may not have mentioned that, but that is a possibility. Who asked that, Virginia?
John Donnelly.
John Donnelly. Unless you saw somewhere specifically, I believe that's still a thing. So basically, for anybody that wasn't aware, that is when you do have cash transactions, but you as a leader or a parent decide to pocket that cash and then make the transaction with your own credit card. It makes accounting a little bit easier, but it should still be available. Yeah.
Next question is there any way that a new unit would not get the 2-case credit on their invoice? Do I need to do anything special to make that happen?
That's a good question. The only thing that needs to happen is to have at least one 2-hour storefront reservation, and make sure you're tracking all of your sales through the app. But otherwise, no, just you would receive that credit as long as you have at least one storefront reservation.
All right. What is the official day to start selling?
once you have product. So a little up in the air, but once you have product in hand, you can start selling. Absolutely. And that's not even true. You could sell online. There are units and scouts currently that are selling online as of right now. So the official day for tangible product is once it's in your hands.
And last question, are any of the products certified gluten-free, or are there any other allergens to be aware of?
I don't have the allergen list pulled up. I can't speak for that just off the top of my head, but that is a resource in the leader portal. You can look at the allergen list, and that's a good thing to have on hand at your storefronts for sure.
Great. And other people just say thank you and great job, Reed.
Sweet, thank you. And I guess one last thing I didn't mention is that we will have banners for everybody when they pick up their initial order. So everybody will get at least one popcorn banner, and I'm glad that we're able to do that this year, but really make your storefront pop. But that wasn't asked about. Typically it is, but just so everybody is aware, you will be getting at least one. Cool. Thank you, Virginia. I truly appreciate it. I'm not sure why I can't see any other questions, but if anybody does have any, feel free to email, text, or call me, especially over the next few days as we get these orders in. If you have any issues, let me know. But yeah, next thing, just remember to get those orders in here in the next couple days. I appreciate it, everybody. John, did you have another question?
Oh, can you hear me?
I can.
Yeah, so the credit card thing, last year, it used to give you bonus points for the credit card. And that's why the cash to card was beneficial, because you can switch all your cash to the card and then you get the card points. Is that
Sure.
still a council thing? Are we still getting more points per card?
It was never a council thing. That was something that was offered through the Trails End. But I don't believe that the points do change this year. It's more of just a convenience thing for unit leaders not needing to track all that cash around. So no, the points should stay the same, but it should
Okay.
still be available to use at least.
So $1 is still a point regardless of cash or card.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Tony, you may have a correction on that.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, the extra quarter point for cash to credit is still a reward.
Thank you.
So that is still part of the Trails End rewards. It's on if you pull up the Trails End rewards flyer in the training section of the leader portal, you'll see it on that rewards flyer.
Sweet. Thank you, Tony. I really appreciate it. Brent? Okay, sweet. That might just be an old one. I appreciate it, everybody. We'll go ahead and stop this now. And like I
Sorry.
said, oh,
Yep.
no, go for it, Brent.
Hi, sorry, I was muted and I didn't realize. First year doing this, so if a scout registers on the app, do they auto-populate into the scouts on the main page for the Trails End?
Yeah, as long as your unit is registered, you'll see them.
Okay.
Because when they go in, they'll select what unit and council and district they're a part of.
Okay, perfect. And then second part is is there a breakdown of how much product is in each box that's ordered?
Yeah, when you go to order it, you'll see what it is. It might change a little bit this year, but this is your first year, Brent. Sorry. Typically it's about 12.
12. Okay, perfect. Thank you.
One other question, pickup locations, will that be shared on the website or emailed out to people that place orders?
Yeah, it'll be emailed out to people that place orders, and also your district colonel or executive will connect with you to do that. But each district does have a different location, so just be on the lookout for when that comes out closer to the pickup date. But yeah, it'll be emailed out.
I see a hand up for Sarah.
Hey, Sarah.
We're doing a little bit of a strange thing where we are inviting scouts. Jonathan, my husband, is one of the assistant scoutmasters for the Jamboree troop that's going from our area. So we are going to invite scouts as part of that troop to sell with us for Troop 479. Is there anything we need to consider or think about, given that some of them may not be in our troop? I don't know that there is, but just asking.
Nothing that I can think of offhand. We might want to connect after this.
Okay.
Depending on basically which unit wants credit for that, if their unit happens to be selling also. That could be the only possibility that I could see coming up, but we can chat more specifically later on if you want to give me a ring.
Yeah, well, and I think we could also just include as part of our information that if their troop is specifically doing popcorn, they could just sell through their own troop.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Tony, did you have something else?
Yeah, I was just gonna, Sarah, if you want to go ahead and get in touch with me, I can help you with that. I've helped run Jambo troop with all sorts of different scenarios. So
Okay.
I'm happy to help you out there. And
Perfect.
then I thought I'd also mention, since you're looking at possibly high dollar stuff, Trails End does have another reward that they just